Welcome back to the Cryptolabs YouTube channel. My name is Gordon, and today we're talking about earning yield on yield, specifically putting your stablecoin profits to work. Okay, I'm working with a lot of clients in the Fast Track group within the UIG. There's a link below the video for that as well, who are fortunately seeing some good returns over the past few weeks in the markets, and some of them even taking some nice profits as we've seen this most recent move up in the market. And that begs the question, what can and should you be doing with those profits that you're taking in stablecoins in order to generate yield on yield and keep that capital working for you? So in today's video, I want to talk about 3 different strategies or ways that you can take those profits, put them to work for you, and continue to generate yield even with stablecoin profits. Again, it may not be the perfect time for you to execute this right now, but as you begin to take more profits throughout the cycle, it's going to be great to have these strategies in your back pocket so that you can execute on them over the coming months. Okay, so the first strategy is very, very simple. If you see price appreciation in your liquidity pools, if you start taking profits with specific assets that are increasing in value, and you're taking that out in stablecoin, you have the ability to act as a lender and supply those stablecoins across various different DeFi protocols in order to continue getting paid and generating APY. Again, there's a whole bunch of different protocols you could be doing this on. I'm going to share 2 quick examples over here on Moonwell Finance. Again, this is a network, it is a protocol that is working on the base network, so EVM compatible with stablecoins like USDC. You can see simply for supplying USDC over on Moonwell right now, you're going to be generating 5% or 5.1% APY. Now, again, it's not revolutionary or extremely high yield, but if you've just taken profits on a trade or seen significant increase in your pool capital and you've taken some profits out of it, it's absolutely no harm and a good idea to be earning additional yield and APY on the profits that you've already made. So 5.1% is what you can get over here on the likes of Moonwell Finance. Again, you can shop around and think about different protocols where you could be getting a better deal or better APY for simply supplying your USDC stablecoin as collateral or on the supply side of a lend borrow protocol. And I'm just showing one more example here. This is Navi protocol, a lending and borrowing protocol that is native to the Sui blockchain. And you can see that the APY that you're going to generate from supplying USDC over on Navi is actually 7.3%. So this is a little bit higher again compared to Moonwell that we were just looking at. And maybe just to close off the conversation, if we look at one more example, Revert Finance is a protocol where you might be used to supplying liquidity into pools and levering that up in order to generate cash flow from pools on the Arbitrum network. But over here on Revert right now, the current lending APY for USDC stablecoin on Arbitrum is also about 7.58%. So this is a very simple, easy way you can supply your profit in the form of stablecoins onto these protocols and generate passive yield and income from supplying them and generating the protocol APY. The second way that you could put those profits or stablecoins to work at this moment in time would be to approach some sort of stablecoin to stablecoin liquidity pool on a different DEX or on different networks. One example I'm looking at right here is MSUSD paired with USDC. So these are 2 different stablecoins. MSUSD is from Metronome Synth, and obviously USDC is the asset that it's paired with here. On the base network on Aerodrome's exchange, there's about $10.5 million of TVL in this particular pool. So that bodes pretty well for me, given that there's a nice depth of liquidity there. And you can see that this pool is currently quoting about 11.46% APR. Again, if you're taking profits in the form of stablecoins and you have the ability to earn an additional 11, 12, and I've actually seen this up as high as 16, 17, 18% on certain days, absolutely that is a great way to benefit from the velocity of money, earn yield on yield, and keep generating cash flow with your stablecoin profits. Again, this is a full range pool opportunity. There are concentrated options for this specific pair as well, CL50, MSUSD, USDC, but just be aware that there is still depeg event risk when supplying liquidity to these type of stablecoin pairs. And On top of that, it is actually possible to incur impermanent loss and lock in and realize losses from providing concentrated liquidity to stablecoin pairs as well. So bear all that in mind when you're making your decision. Even though you can get a higher yield on a concentrated pool, it may not be worth the fact that you have the potential to lock in losses from the conversion rate between those two stables, and maybe a full range pool will suit you better. Yes, the APR is slightly lower, but you don't have to risk as much in terms of impermanent loss. The third option I wanted to talk about in today's video is interest rate arbitrage with different stablecoin to stablecoin pairs and yield-bearing stablecoins on protocols like Contango. Again, David in the Fast Track group has been presenting multiple different strategies for how we can leverage protocols like Contango and interest rate arbitrage to be earning additional yield on yield with stablecoin pairs. Again, if you look at some of these PT options with expiry or maturity dates in the future, what you're essentially able to do here is provide liquidity into these vaults on Ethereum mainnet, for example, on protocols like Morpho, and you can hold them to maturity and benefit from increased yield because of the fact that you can actually leverage up these positions using a protocol like Contango. So even though some of these pools and vaults are actually on Morpho, Contango is giving you the ability to loop up your exposure and thereby loop up and increase the ROE potential or the APR potential of what you're actually generating with these particular allocations. Again, you have to be careful. You probably do not want to use the max amount of leverage for any of these specific pairs because you will have a very, very tiny liquidation buffer when that happens. Again, you can see the liquidation buffer here with the max leverage is only 2.5%, meaning if there is a depeg event and the price deviates more than 2.5% from the current spot price, you could get liquidated on this position. And so you may want to consider actually using much less leverage. Yes, that will drive down the ROE potential, but giving yourself something more like 8 to 10% buffer, and you can still generate 30% ROE on stables, that is a fantastic opportunity and one that you could consider for putting those stable coins to work. Another caveat with this particular strategy or option is the fact that you are not technically cash flowing with this strategy. You have to wait until maturity in order to realize those gains, swap out of the PT token, and take your profits. Okay, so you do have to hold it to maturity. Again, there's lots of different vaults and opportunities over here on Contango. And we've been working with a lot of clients who have lots of stablecoin capital to deploy who are getting some excellent results with this type of strategy. So if you're interested in learning more about this strategy or any of the other strategies I just mentioned on today's video, make sure to check out this over in the UIG. There is a link below this video in the description. Check it out. We're helping a bunch of clients learn how to execute these strategies and many, many more for getting exposure to liquidity pools, generating consistent passive income from yield in those pools across multiple blockchains. We're using Solana, Ethereum, EVM compatible chains. We're looking at Sui, lots of different opportunities across all of these networks. So again, if you're bullish on those particular protocols, there's going to be opportunities for you. Check out the link below this description. Check out the free course. There's a completely free course, even if you're not ready to join the UIG. Check out the free course, tons of valuable information. I wanted to share those strategies in today's video for how you can generate yield on yield. Make sure you take some profits, put your capital to work, generate cash flow, and we'll catch you in the next one.